All systems have been alerted to your presence, sir.
I have a very bad feeling about this.
I hope you know what you're doing.
The Emperor has been expecting you.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Toychest, episode 22, being recorded on January 27th, 2025. I am your host, Darth Moocher. I've got Scott Solo here.
Sorry, my
okay.
phone just... What's up, nerds? Jesus. My phone gets answered through my computer sometimes, and a phone call just came through.
Oh, no worries.
Stop.
Scott Solo's there. Alexander Storm from the Shadow Nose Network.
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
And we've got Blitz Transmissions himself. Tommy, what is up?
What's going on, everyone? How are we doing this week?
Good, good, good. You know, if anybody, I'm going to say this right now off the bat. The link is in the description below to check out Blitz Transmissions and Shadow Nose Network. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're liking, because there's awesome stuff coming, but also awesome stuff that have dropped also. So great conversations to be had, along with the toys of today that we're going to get into, all the Hasbro stuff and some future plans that Hasbro might have, maybe pretty soon. But before we get into all of that good stuff, and I will shout out the pit here in a minute, take this time to shout out our Shadow Council, which will properly be addressed on Wednesday's show when we break down everything Star Wars. So if you feel so inclined, scan that QR code, get involved in a conversation, because some cool things are happening there too. Right, Scott?
That's right. That's right. I am fully invested now.
Okay, cool. You're good. You're focused.
Good.
I'm going to check in with the pit. I know for a fact Blitz Transmissions was first, because as soon as I dropped the episode, he commented, but it didn't show up on our chat. But I know he was first, so I vouch for that. Justin Hoover's in there. He pre-ordered the Rex and Sky Guy. Yeah. I'm going to get into that. We Rhino Hobbies, of course. Check it in. Lax Zivrak, what's up, man? I hope you are good. I haven't seen you in a long time. I know you popped in our chat last week. It's always good to see familiar faces. Basil G is here. Of course, Mando Mike, Stu John Jedi. Who else? Commander Cook is there. Phantom Menace Dennis. Yes, he's in a deep dark. Who else we got? Hell Runner Base, of course.
We got
Dr. Brantley is here. Yep. Chat. What's up, Chet? Yes. And there he is. There's Commander Bly. There he is.
Had to show up.
Yes, you were first. I had to mention you were definitely first. I saw you. I saw it. I seen it. So, so I know everybody here has caught the Hasbro live stream that dropped this week, right? I mean,
yep.
I felt it was kind of cool that it was a light live stream. I was kind of happy that it was light in my end as far as
Wasn't
Black
light
Series.
on my
Yeah,
end.
exactly.
Jesus.
Overall, I mean, they only announced 2 Black Series, 4 vintage, right, and a box set, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that, or
There you go,
a
yeah.
troop builder. So, yeah, your wallet didn't hit hard, but I was like, $50, I'm cool. You know,
$280 later, I'm like, oh my
Ooh.
god.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just again, I guess they are keeping their promises of no pipelines, you know.
Ooh, for that.
Yeah, I kind of miss it.
Yeah.
But they did drop some like the we're going to announce an announcement coming in Celebration, and be excited for all those announcements before you hit product. So yeah, Stu John pre-order Rex and Anakin. Pulse sold out of Anakin within an hour, and Rex with 5 hours. Wow,
Yep.
I didn't know they sold out, and I was kind
Yeah.
of sitting on the fence about it just a second
Yeah.
until I saw my old Clone Wars Anakin. I was like, okay, that one's going in the trash, and I'm going to replace it with this one.
Nobody's gonna buy that thing because it's ugly. So
The Anakin is pre-sold out on Pulse, Amazon, and Big Bad Toy Store.
Yeah.
All 3. I know it might still be on Entertainment Earth.
I got it. I pre-ordered it last night on Entertainment Earth because
Okay.
those. See, that's why I was really hit hard because I want those 2 Black Series figures too.
Oh, okay.
So I ended up pre-ordering everyting. That up on that stupid. Oh God.
That's what they like to hear. That's what they
I know.
It's a good sign. Because Star Wars hasn't seen that in a long time about a pre-order selling out within an hour or 2 or whatever, right? It hasn't seen that in a while, so they know what sells. It's like just like Blitz, you did a whole episode about clones and how it's more efficient for them to make those guys and
it's cheap, easy money on their part, and it helps the budget of the line for other stuff. Yeah.
It's funny because Rex is a character, and I don't consider him one of those cookie cutter clones, even though he is a clone and stuff. So like when I was on the fence about it, I was like, here we go. Is it the same Rex? But Scott really helped me out pointing it out. It's a phase 1 Rex. It's Ahsoka from that flashback, right? I'm like, all right, well, that sold it, right? Done. I will get it. Absolutely. Not that I was like fist pumping about it, but you know.
Oh, anytime I can get a Rex, now I need a Snowtrooper Rex.
Yes.
I need anytime I can get, I need Old Man Rex.
We need Old Man. I will buy Old Man Rex.
Man Andor Trooper Rex. I need all the Rexes. Just bring it. I'm here for the party.
Yeah. Hell Runner. If I decide to trash it, I will send it to you. I promise. I'm not even gonna. I won't even charge you. If I decide to replace it, which I might be, I will send it to you. I promise that. That is a promise.
Hold his feet to the.
Oh, I'll do it. I'll be glad because I had such a hard time with that one Anakin buying it in the first place because I was like, what is it? It's not. It doesn't even. Yeah. Oh, so
the Obi-Wan was so good and the Anakin was so not. I'm like,
I
don't know what they were doing with the face on that old Anakin. I don't know what they
not even animation accurate. It's not even, you know what I mean?
Looks like Tom Holland more than
it really did. Yeah.
We got BD1 checking in. We also have BD? Santo 1414. What is up? Yeah. Did Lucasfilm ever canon Rex and Return of the Jedi confirm? No. That was Pablo Hidalgo kind of said, right? Was that
Yeah. Now they did say that he was part of the Battle of Endor somewhere. Not sure if he was in a ship, maybe in a gunner's turret or the Ghost or something like that, but they do say that he was there. And I think they did that in one of those animated series, the one where like Hera and Han were racing each other in the ship.
Galaxy of Heroes or Heroes, something like that. Yeah.
I think it's called, right?
Force of the Destiny. Thank you. Yeah.
One of those kiddie cartoons. Yeah, it was one of those.
Yeah. Well, before I know we're gonna get into our Black Series Vintage Collection talk, but there is another line that's out there right now. And it is one of those lines that we have brought up in the past. And there have been some debate here between me and Scott about the purpose of this particular Star Wars line. Is it a waste of resources? Do we really need it in the toy collecting world and whatever? me personally, I'll bring up the image here in a minute and I'll tell you what it is. But me personally, I don't really consider this line a collecting line for collectors. I consider it something that's part of the course, par for the course of just getting, kid toys out there. Because right now, action figures are not kids' toys, right? So that's the whole thing. Let's bring it up. So if you guys have been familiar, this line has been out for about a year, 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Epic Heroes
Epic Heroes. Yeah.
Yak Face does a post about these all the time, every time it comes out, and every time I go, man, that's really cool, And of course, it's very stylized, very high fantasy Star Wars toys, right? You got the Stormtrooper, Mandalorian, and they got mech suits. That's reminds me of like Power of the Force 2 when they came out with those deluxe figures, Boba Fett with the missile launchers. And
Yeah.
But then again, you got some of these figures that are actually legit cool. Like Vader it looks like a legit figure, SM33, before we even got a Black Series or Vintage, he's out in this line. These are 4-inch scale, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
yes.
So I didn't see this splash screen until Scott put it up, and I was kind of like, whoa, they're really, this line is actually taking some, it's actually taken some form. It's actually got some weight to it or lasting, because Hasbro drops things on a dime when it comes to Star Wars, right? They hyper reel. There's certain it didn't sell, done, move on to something else. This one has legs, wondering who's buying them. I don't really see these in the store too much because I'm not looking for them, but I haven't really seen like a whole display of them. I've seen them before, but not like in abundance.
I've seen them at the local Target.
Have you?
I have seen it, and I think that it's anything that's an entry level for like new fans to come in, and especially something, because it's not like you're buying even if the Black Series or Vintage Series, those are still a good dollar worth for parents. These lines are a little bit more affordable, and kids like to have that. Even though it looks for us like they're bulky, some of them don't seem. Like that's catching their eyes, colorful, wide neon colors and things like that. Anything that's getting newer fans into it. And I was at Geeking Out here in Southern California about a week ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago, and I saw more younger fans than I had seen in a very long time.
Good.
Show up to these conventions that were interested. So that's letting it know that there is a line that if you can get them introduced into it, this may actually help the hobby or the sport or whatever we want to call it continue on beyond this. I think it's a very smart move by Hasbro.
I agree. Like I 100% agree. I always think there's room for it all. And like having the Nerf guns, having the toy sabers, having these, it's almost in that same line of like, this is what I would buy my nephew or niece or younger kid. It's like, go play with these in the sand, break them. I don't care. I think it's like $12, $12.99 or something like that per figure. It's one of those, like, you got the collector figure and then you got the toy.
Exactly.
What we have now today is not toys. So to me, if it wasn't in the line, it'd be a miss. You know what I mean? And I know, like I said, I'll give Scott the floor because I know his opinion. And no, I mean, you have a legit kind of thing on the overall big picture, right? Like Scott was, you said, like it was almost like, look, why don't we just pull these resources into building out these collections and stuff? And
the excuse that Hasbro uses is it's a line for kids, and we've gone over this before. I feel like a broken record with this. They've always had, from the beginning, the Star Wars figures were always a line for kids. The Clone Wars figures that had articulation, the vintage collection, whenever they started, they had articulation. They were all made for kids. Whenever I was a kid and I had my 5-point of articulation figures, they were fun to play with until G.I. Joe came out. Once G.I. Joe came out, and now I had knees and elbows and more articulation, more ways of posability and stuff like that. It went from being with your figures bashing them together to actually posing them out and doing stuff with them. And I feel like you're dumbing down a figure line for kids when it doesn't need to be dumbed down. The kids like articulation too, right. You don't. And I do see that a couple of the figures in this graphic too, they do have elbows now. So they have added a little bit of elbow articulation, which that's great. But don't put out a 5-point of articulation figure saying it's just for kids whenever kids have been enjoying articulated figures for over 40 years.
That's a good point.
That's all there is to it. And this is not the first time that they've also done this. They've backpedaled and done the 5-point of articulation figures, right? If you're going to do this, I mean, so we've got 3 different action figure lines that are of the same approximate scale. We've got Vintage Collection, we've got the Epic Heroes, and we've got Retro Collection, right? Pick a freaking lane. You know, I love the retro figures. Those are great because they appeal to my, you know, the old man in me that there was the kid playing in the 70s with old Star Wars figures, right? The articulated Vintage Collection figures are little excellent little masterpiece figures that are articulated. You have all the weapons, you have those are things I had whenever I was 10, I was 8 with my Joes. Joes had guns, backpacks, binoculars. They had all these little bits and pieces. You had some with hooks on their hip where, you know, a sword would go or a claw. You had all these pieces. You had all this articulation and it was fun. I mean, it was really cool. I wouldn't buy something that was 5-point of articulation with why does Vader have a flaming sword? You know, it's like, I'm looking at that and I'm like, why?
Imagination.
So, kind of to Scott's point here, anyway, I can give the perspective as someone who grew up with the super articulated figures. And exactly what Scott said, the super articulated figures with like Revenge of the Sith and onward, those were the toys I always picked. I actually, the 5 POAs, they were the dead bodies on the ground in my scenarios before the game even started. Like that, those were the ones I kind of cast off to the side because there's just so much more you can do with the ones that have more articulation. And actually, I remember when Hasbro made the switch over to with Force Awakens back to 5 POA. You know, I was already aging out of that because I was like getting into high school and stuff at the time. But when they did that, I was like lame, not as cool, inferior to what I was playing with as a kid. And however, with that being said, I think what they're trying to do with Epic Hero or Epic whatever it's called now, because I know they changed the name, but they I think what they're trying to do is the hyper articulated figures cost $18 now, $17-18 a piece. I think they're trying to give you a happy medium, so something a little cheaper for kids to play with. If they were able to somehow drive that price down just a little bit on TVC, I think they would just go all in on the super articulated. But my opinion is, you know, 10 times out of 10, I'll always think that stuff is lame versus, as my dad says in the chat, the bendy figures, the ones with the knees,
the bendies,
all the extra stuff. Yeah.
So you're yes, and it would also help if they were not a completely different scale. Scale them down to the same scale as a Vintage Collection figure. That way, I believe somebody in there said, okay, Lax Sivrak said the Stormtroopers would be good for background army building.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Especially if they were the same size.
Yeah.
You know, them towering over everything makes every Vintage Collection figure just a little too short for a Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
So, you know, pick a lane. And you know what? You're also right about the price point. The price point at $16.99 a figure is stupid, right? Yeah. But from pretty much Thanksgiving through first week of January, they had those prices lowered and on sale. Those figures were on sale. They do not have to be as expensive as they are and still turn a profit. What we've got is an MSRP that is way overwrought, right? They need to rethink that. Well, anyway, that's my 2 cents. I know they're doing vehicles for it, like the and I love it. I love the N1. That's a great idea. Make inexpensive vehicles to go with figure lines that already exist.
Yeah.
Well, it just seems to me like they could all meld together and make a unified Star Wars.
Sure. I would 100% be like on board with the sentiment of like pick a lane, right? If that's the only line that they put out. Meaning, like you said, back in when we were growing up, we didn't need dumbed down figures. We didn't need these over colorful, you know, stuff to sell a product. We bought it. Our parents bought them. We played with them, etc. But this is and I always say, like, this is an addition to and I don't think if that was it's like the only choice. I think that the market went to collectors versus toys, and now these are toys. Like what the vintage collection and the Black Series are not toys. Do you know what I mean? Like they're vehicles. Like where's the like they don't make play sets anymore, right? There's the point of this packaging is a exclusive packaging you put on your wall, and we're going to have these figures available for this set, and then here's all the accessories that comes with whatever, but it's all for our displays and our photography. I think they know that, and that's why they needed a line to kind of cater to a toy where a bigger bubbly vehicles out different scale makes sense to me. If you're going to separate it, then separate it instead of blending it, because again, and this is all subjective, right? It is what it is, because they're not going to stop making them. But I'm just saying, like, now your niece or nephew, your son or daughter, or little kids in the living room playing with these toys, and you can, as a collector, you can be like, all right, cool, you're not touching these, you got those, and the price is better for that too. So
I hear the argument on everyone's side, but the problem that's become that it all comes down for the industry is that Hasbro's a publicly traded company.
Yeah.
What comes that we all know that vintage collection doesn't need to be the price that it is. Right. And when we were coming up, we're a little bit older than Tommy, so a little decade on that. But Joe's were like $2.99. I'm looking at almost there's certain times I see the vintage collection is like maybe $4 or $5 cheaper than the Black Series.
Yeah, it's like right there.
That now, if let's say the average price of like I'm seeing in the comment where they said one of the Mandu and the Naboo Starfighter was under $6. If the vintage collection was around $7.99, parents would be inclined to purchase the vintage.
Would need this line, absolutely,
because look, they still paired, they're cool. They come with vehicles. There are certain play sets they're making. If the prices were proportionate to the 1980s when they were coming out, but because these companies need to make their money every quarter, and they have to make more money every quarter, well, these things have gotten to the point where parents are like, it's a lame figure, but I can afford $12.99, and me buying two figures at $20 a pop almost is way out of budget. So I think it comes down to just as a point of just parents and looking at, we can't afford the vintage collections. We would love to have them have the same ideals that we have. It's almost cheaper to go buy actual real vintage Star Wars and Joe
sometimes some
of them
and I've noticed that a lot of my nieces and nephews, they love old Joes and they love those old Star Wars figures because they are cool. But guess what? You're not really, unless you're a serious collector, you don't care about those old ones. So you can pick up like a lot of vintages. Hey, here you guys go. And because it's $6 compared to a brand new figure sitting on the shelf is $20.
Yeah, and the demand should speak for itself, right? Like I said, this line has been going on, and they're continuing waves. So there's obviously someone buying them. There's people buying them. So maybe not in the high desert we're at, but enough to justify it, to continue making it and making it more kiddie, if you will. You know what I mean?
Definitely not in our area, because our areas are flooded with these things. I mean,
Same here.
It's I don't know who's buying, and that's the other issue. And thank you for bringing that up. I do not know who is buying them.
Well,
because I have not once seen. Maybe because they haven't switched out. I mean, we still have the same dozen or so figures that have been there for.
Well, I'm just saying, Hasbro's scared, right? Not scared, but like they will drop a line if it does not sell day one. They will drop it. We've seen it. It's proven, especially with Star Wars. They will move on to something else. And for them to be I think 2 years now into this particular line, I was just like, wow, it's got legs, and that's why it's an interesting conversation because. Mm-hmm. If just like Star Wars in general, where you got Disney Plus, you've got the kids shows, you got the adult shows, like Andor's mainly for adult, and then Skeleton Crew is for kids. Why can't toys be that same spectrum, right? I mean, yes, we didn't grow up that way, but again, that was 40 years ago. So it's like,
I think just a couple points here, real quick. I definitely agree with Hasbro dropping stuff. I think what they're doing now with the Epic series is what they were doing with Mission Fleet a few years back. I have
Mission
above
Fleet,
me
yeah.
a bunch of Mission Fleet stuff. I thought that line was awesome. It reminded me a lot of playing with like Galactic Heroes or Imaginext as a
those
kid.
little guys. Yeah, yeah.
And then one day they just stopped, and now there's no such thing as Mission Fleet. I think that budget has been replaced with this line, because Mission Fleet didn't do well enough. I mean, it all went to Ollie's, it all went to Ross, and that was all vehicles. You know, that was, in my opinion, cooler than what we're getting with this line. The other thing there too is when I interviewed Daryl DePriest on my channel, he was in marketing with Hasbro, specifically with Star Wars, for like 10 years. He told me that it was a mix of them having to increase cost of production around 2008, 2009, and then the Great Recession made a lot of people back out of Star Wars toys altogether. They had to be like, I'm done and I can't afford it anymore. And so Hasbro has had to pivot, and I don't think they really ever recovered on the 3.75 scale. They had to pivot, and that's part of the reason Black Series became a thing. Was because of all that. So I think what's happening is they're trying to get back, like you said, that happy medium, get something for kids, while we also, because the other thing Daryl said, and that's definitely rings true to this day, it's the reason we have fan streams and all this stuff and all this riffraff, is the collectors are driving the bus on the market now, whereas 20 years ago, it was actually kids driving the market, and you know, little Timmy walking down the aisle at Walmart. Now it's us driving the market. So that's why I think they're just kind of, in my opinion, throwing things at the wall and seeing if something will stick.
You mentioned those those little rubber, the like, I don't know what their little kitty,
Mission
2-inch, not Mission Fleet, but way before that, back in like the 2000s. I bought my son all those because I wasn't going to buy them.
I love
Galaxy of Heroes. I bought him all those because they were kitty, and because I know he was going to destroy them and stuff. I wasn't going to buy them, you know, Power of the Force figures for all these little accessories that get lost.
I could throw those down the stairs and they wouldn't break.
They're awesome. And it had vehicles too.
Yeah,
you know?
It did.
Which one was that?
Galactic Heroes.
They're like
the little plastic, almost like play school.
Yes,
they had no articulation. They were just little guys. Yeah.
Well, and then they did that other line that was like, I know they were at Walmart a lot, and it was, you know, little 4 or 5 inch figures in a tube. You could get those little plastic, but they were articulated. You know, it was a 4-inch figure that was articulated. And those were super cheap, and those also didn't sell. So
well, we don't know what we know right now is Black Series and Vintage Collection. Now those are the decade long lines that we're all concentrating on. But I also, like I said, I just have that sentiment of like, there's room for this a Nerf line, if you will, you know, the like Mech Warrior / Star Wars. It's only a matter of time before He-Man does a crossover of Star Wars. So. Which I'll probably buy those. Yeah. Hey, AZ Toy Hunters Guild is checking in also, and of course Max Rebo Experience. It's the retailers asking for these kid lines, not so much consumer. Bobby Valla had a great interview talking about this. Yeah, I like I said, I think that people are buying them. I mean, somewhere, somehow they're buying them because that's the continuation of it. And retailers will ask to restock the shelves. Absolutely. These are going, let's get more. Boom, boom, boom. You know, just like in Star Wars, like the Midnight, they don't do the Midnight Sets anymore because
it's a shame.
It is a shame because I don't know. They got scared. The retailers got scared, I think. So Trevor Ritchie also checking in. But yeah, I mean, it's cool to have it. Like I said, I'd rather see it there because, you know, then Star Wars is a bigger umbrella than just our generation phasing itself out eventually. And maybe, hopefully this is something where, just like Tommy said, you remember those, and hopefully these kids remember those too. And then they get into, you know, Farm Boy Luke. Yeah. Like when they give you Farm Boy Luke again, let's go. Then here he is for the 7,000th time. And this one they got right. You know, it's like, you know, so by the way, I did get the Farm Boy Luke and Leia, and they are great figures. They're great.
They really
I have them on order. They're about to process right now.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into the live stream and let's jump into Black Series. Let's go from the Epic Heroes Black Series, and then we'll get into the Vintage Collection. Now, Black Series. Most of everything has been on the shelves and found. I know I did see on Yakface also that the Saboba wave is going to be hitting soon.
Yes.
Okay.
So look for that really fast. And I don't know about the Cody.
June.
I haven't.
June.
June?
Yeah.
June.
That's a long time, man. Okay.
Yeah. Well.
It amazes, Basil and Vernestra, they are here. They're in the desert with us, and they have been sitting on
said their
pegs.
names.
Nobody
Really? Why would that be?
I don't know.
You said their names.
It's right. At least I didn't say them 3 times. So it's not like Beetlejuice that are going to pop out.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are where Luke and Leia, they have also hit the shelves. They were in the same wave case, right?
Yes,
Luke, Leia, and the other, those who shall not be named.
Yeah.
Luke and Leia sold out immediately.
And
These two, though,
good. Yeah.
Especially, believe it or not, there was a couple of Vernestras. One of them sold. One of them is still there, and nobody's buying Basil.
Yeah,
little rat face dude.
I wonder how
sell around Easter because people will think it's the Star Wars Easter bunny.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh, you mean like this right here?
Yeah. R2 bunny.
Yeah, it goes with the droid. There you go.
Yeah,
is that the very first time they ever did like an Easter version? Yeah,
it is. And I will have it. Yes, I will, because I am that cheesy. So anyway.
Of course. Well, I wonder how Kelnaka's going to do.
But I don't want 5-point of articulation figures, but I'll take a damn rabbit. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, again, yeah, so Boba is going to be it's here in the US and they're getting ready to ship that. So that is an exciting wave. I cannot wait to get that in my hands. But for this year to kick off 2025, they released the Clone Wars Anakin and the Rex, but I'm sorry, Ahsoka World Between Worlds Anakin and World Between Worlds Rex, which are fantastic because they are in the Ahsoka packaging and they stressed it that this is an Ahsoka line or wave, if you will. But both figures look absolutely amazing. We've kind of like teased a little bit how the original Clone Wars Anakin was trash. This one makes up for it. That's awesome. So I paid $50 for a proper Anakin. And at least Rex is a brand new kind of like era of, figure and stuff. So I'm happy with
armor, different helmet. I can't wait. Actually, and like I said earlier, those I as soon as they came out, I had to pre-order them. I need those figures in my life. So.
Yeah. That was, I'm with Scott on that one. They looked fantastic. I thought that his appearance in Ahsoka was for Anakin was probably one of the best things I've seen in the last 15, 20 years.
It was
Seeing
great.
him pop back up, he looks great.
Yeah.
I was looking like I've got to do a diorama with young Ahsoka and that older Anakin because it's just he looks fantastic. The cuts, everything. There was no point where I could say any critique about it because it was like, wow, they got this pretty damn close to perfect.
I was like, I think Scott and I were going back and forth texting. I go, how's the fit? Because I didn't really see. I listened to the live stream, but I didn't really get a chance to really like dive into the looks and stuff. And Scott was like, no, it's a Phase 1 Rex, and Anakin looks great. Went on Hasbro Pulse, and I didn't instantly buy it. Thank God I did, buy it when I did. But I got on there, I was like, yeah, okay, cool, boom, 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 easy sell, easy sell for me on those. So I know that they teased. And we'll talk about this a little bit after we do the vintage recap. Is they tease some more things for? It's almost like again, calm before the storm. I always say this, right? 2 Black Series figures, but wait, because wait till we have in store, and that's the feeling I got, and that's what I'm hoping. It's almost like, oh crap, oh here we go. What do I got? Do I do some DoorDash? I do some Uber to like, are they going to hit me up that hard? Like, you know what I mean? Like. When they give you 2 figures now, and we're in trouble later.
Yeah.
But again, at this point, I'm like, okay, that was cool. So, but yeah, so those are the 2. Great addition, great start for the 2025. I did see a video. I don't know if it was Bly that sent it to it in or somebody in our Discord sent a video of the Savage of Press. Someone had it in hand.
Oh, that was me. Yeah, that's my friend.
Yeah, it was you. That's you.
My friend Hybrid Toy Reviews. Shout out to his channel. He found an eBay listing for a factory reject, unfinished Savage of Press figure, and he said, "You know what? I'm going to buy that." It got shipped from China. It showed up like within a few weeks, and then he reviewed it for his channel. And That thing is a monster. He posted on his Instagram a size comparison with it lined up next to Maul, Obi-Wan, and a Stormtrooper. And he's like at least an inch taller. It's awesome. It's awesome.
I love it. I love it. And he already said that in the review. Is like already just this would be figure of the year. So I'm like, that's cool.
Dude.
Like what I seen of it, I was like, yeah, I agree.
It's all except for the head. The whole thing is painted. It's very, very good looking. Yeah. So I cannot wait for that one to hit us, and Scott do a 1 minute review on that. You might have to do 2 minute review on that one. Just saying.
I might. Yeah.
Well, Scott, what happened in the vintage world, man? Because and are you? I know you bought them all, but what is your real thought of this direction? Because they went heavy Ahsoka in this one.
Let's get into it. So here we go. Here's the updated January 2025 list. Real quick update. I did get the Luke Skywalker vintage collection 344. Why did it take 344 figures to get a good Farm Boy Luke, right? Yeah. But at the same time, I'm glad it took 344 figures because they were able to master the process, right? Otherwise, you'd probably already have 3 variations.
Yeah.
Great figure. Also, Dedra, she's out. You can find her. Actually, all 3 of these found figures, including what's her name from Acolyte? I can't even think of
Indara.
Thank you, Indara, Master Indara. All 3 of them I found at GameStop. So GameStops are getting these again. They're getting the pre-releases, I want to say, because these are all supposed to be mainline releases,
right?
And they've been at every GameStop I've gone to in the 50-mile radius I'm in. They've been there. So go to your GameStop, get your figures. So the announcements though that they made. It was the Mandalorian Commando from Ahsoka, the World Between Worlds flashback.
Right.
Balin's Skull, Shin Hati, and the 501st Trooper. Now, the 501st Trooper, didn't they just freaking release this guy just last year? They did.
I know for Black Street. I don't know about vintage. I don't know.
This is the new one that comes in the 4-pack.
Right, but he was okay. So thank you. That answers the question. Yeah, they did release him. Okay, so now he's getting his own individual card back. That is why this one I only ordered one, just so I could have one on the wall with the rest of them. Right, Shin and Balin. I am so happy that we're getting Shin and Balin. But again, they're doing this. You only get most of the figure. You don't get cloaks for them, which probably means we're going to get another release in the future with them with cloaks. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting used to it.
At least they're properly scaled and they're not the same height like Black Series was.
Yes,
exactly. And then, of course, we've got the Mandalorian Super Commando or Mandalorian Loyalist. I kind of lose track of what their exact names are nowadays.
Super Commando.
I didn't look at it. Is it the Super Commando?
Yeah.
It is kind of like a variation of 3 different past releases, all kind of glommed onto one. So it's a really good kit bash with some nice paint apps. I'm ordering 2 of him. He looks great. Balin and Shin look great. 2 of those. 501st Trooper, take it or leave it. I mean, honestly, we do have 501st Troopers on a card, I believe, in the past.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had to put
just
it
down with clones. So it's not a necessity, I don't feel, but it's got an individual number unless it's a re-release.
I think it's a refresh on the card number, right?
Ooh, if that's the case, then maybe I'll cancel his ass.
I think it might say. I think it does say, they showed on the stream whatever the VC number is, and then it says RF at the end.
All right, cool. Then that guy is going the way of the dodo. I don't need that thing. Now, as far as the 4-pack goes, they have promised us that this new 4-pack of battle droids are sturdier. They're not going to have the wobbly, bendy legs that the old Phantom Menace figures had. Because I've got all those Phantom Menace battle droids. They all just kind of fall over all the time.
Getting the care package ready for Hal Runner.
I know, right? Hal Runner's always looking for
Vulture
figures.
Runner over here, man. He's ready to
Seriously.
take what you don't want.
So we've got 9. So we've got OOM9 essentially, and 3 basic battle droids. And I'm stoked, man. I think it's really cool that we're getting upgraded figures because we really haven't had a good battle droid in years. Even the one that was like a was it the gaming greats droid?
Right.
Rubbery as hell. That guy just falls right over. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about this set. And of course, you know, with the release of these, they've moved off of our pipeline reveals. We've only got 4 pipeline reveals left. No additional pipelines. No additional pipelines at all. But we did get a surprise update from the Haslab.
Yeah.
And that was some in-hand figures. You'll see there at the bottom corner, or right below the actual cantina, the characters in hand. I was pretty pleased with what I saw there. So it looked
they look
great.
like Black Series to me. You know, I like that. Like,
yeah,
from this, you know,
that's what we should get. You know, these, whenever you get a Haslab figure, you're paying the premium for it. You should get a superior action figure. So,
of course.
I'm pretty stoked with the way this is turning out also. So yeah, I'm happy with the cantina process so far. I don't think we're going to get any additional real updates until we get Celebration. Once we hit Celebration, we might get some updates. And then after that, we've got Comic-Con. Maybe we'll actually see it on the show floor in some sort of production mode.
Yeah.
Along with the next Haslab, apparently.
Along with the next I mean, if you guys watched the live stream, they didn't announce that Haslab was like another Haslab, but they kind of teased like Haslab is going strong, and you can't and you guys are going to be surprised on what it is, right? And
Tommy's shaking his head.
And at first I was sitting there going like, oh, it's got to, you know, because I was like, okay, it's Black Series turn, it's Black Series turn. But then I started going back with all our talks about the made to order figures and vintage collection Haslabs, how vintage collection Haslabs seem to be almost where that should go. And then that made to order, how we were discussing how that is a possibility for Black Series. And I honestly would probably be okay with that. You know what I mean? Like if we just got like these smaller vehicles and Black Series stuff, but they're just made to order, then keep the Haslab just vintage collection. Yeah, you guys think that would be good?
I don't want it to continue being just vintage collection because I'm not independently wealthy. You know,
well, you still will only get one a year, if that. Like I said, they won't give you 2.
But if you
because
think
they
about
have the made to
one
order.
One a year that's like $500 plus all the figures, all the other vehicles, all the other, you know, hallways and storefronts.
And we live in the same area, so you can't take my DoorDash customer. I got to get those. You know, when I sign up, you can't be like, you know.
I know, right? So I would like a breather. I would like a breather. What does Tommy know? Because Tommy keeps shaking his head. I feel like he knows something.
Well, I always have my ear to the ground on the rumor mill, and I have sources and all that garbage. But from what I understand, no, it's going to be TVC. There's no plans at all for a Black Series Haslab right now, let alone 2025. So it's going to be another TVC Haslab announced at San Diego Comic-Con.
San Diego, because I was almost under the impression that Celebration Japan was going to be like this because they have a booth there. I thought it was going to be like that's what the live stream made it seem, right? Like wait until what you see what we got going on for Celebration Japan, because
I think what they're going to do going with this is I think they're going to dump figures at a panel at Celebration Japan. You're going to get like 10 to 12 Black Series, like 8 to 10 TVC, just dump a huge stream on us. And then I think going forward, I think Comic-Con's just for Star Wars going to be some sort of big announcement. Like here's a big vehicle, here's a Haslab, here's this.
Yeah. I'm hoping that your sources, Tommy, do say, like I said, that thing we talked about, the made to order Black Series. I hope that's a thing. Like I'm cool with that.
I really hope so. And I also have, dude, it's been the leaks from the factories have been ridiculous. I don't know how close you guys pay attention to that stuff, but I literally, between people DMing other like Black Series YouTubers and saying, I'm an anonymous source, here's 20 something figures that are coming in the next 2 years that are in just the idea phase versus
I've seen it with Classified, G.I. Joe Classified. I've seen those leaks, but I have not seen Star Wars Black Series leaks.
So do you?
If you want, I can boil it down to like.
Please do.
Okay. Yeah, go for it. Man. Share away.
Definitely check out Lukeness Monster on YouTube. He has a TVC one that I haven't really paid much attention to, but apparently there's a whole leak list for TVC as well. That this anonymous source reached out to him at the beginning of the year and said, hey, like on a burner account, this is everything. He didn't believe it because there was some crazy stuff on there. And in that leak list, they said, hey, Rory McCann is going to take over as Balin Skull, so they're going to do a new figure. Hey, they're doing Mando and Grogu movie. Embo is going to be the main villain. Here's a figure. He's getting a figure for Black Series. And he was like, there's no way any of this is real. Well, then over the next week, the announcement started coming out officially. And he's like, oh, I'd better make a video. So he recorded a video, one for Black Series, one for TVC. So you got for Mando and Grogu, they're going to do allegedly. There's some of these I don't think are going to happen. It's
sure.
Take it with a grain of salt, right?
Yeah. You're looking at obviously Mando, Grogu. They're going to do Zeb. They're going to do Embo with his dog. They're going to do a Rhoda the Hutt figure, as well as the Hutt twins that we saw in Book of Boba.
I like it. I like that.
For Clone Wars, they're doing a Jedi.
Hang on. Was this Black Series or is
Black
this Vintage
Series.
Collection?
A lot of the Black Series and Vintage stuff will overlap.
Okay.
TVC is getting a Grievous Legs Maul from Clone Wars, as well as a Savage Press.
Wow.
Allegedly, Black Series is getting Pong Krell, as well as a Jedi Temple Guard. You're looking at a bunch of Revenge of the Sith stuff. You're looking at figures from Ahsoka, including a new Balin Skull and some other stuff as well. It's a huge and absolutely, and then it's I could go on and on. It's a huge list. I definitely recommend checking out Lukeness Monsters channel.
Okay.
For that, if you want to get up to date with TVC and we don't know what scale. Anakin Jedi Interceptor from Revenge of the Sith is allegedly coming. No clue if it's Black Series or TVC. Yeah. They did not specify this person. But yeah, so we're looking at some pretty crazy stuff if all this stuff comes true over the next 2 years here.
I'm waiting for some sort of vehicle for Star Wars, Black Series wise. You know, like I said, we got the Haslab's G.I. Joe stuff. I'm just like, well, you know, Cloud Car, Jedi Starfighter, whatever it is. I'm waiting for that thing I could put together that's Star Wars and not. I mean, I love my G.I. Joes, but I'm waiting for that model to pass through. And if they drop one, and like someone said, you know, the hashtag bring back the Rancor. Yeah, you know.
I hate the Ron Krell so much. I want that figure. So
oh no, he's such
a great villain.
I see Howl Runner in like a lot of other live streams and stuff, and he's right on the money. Allegedly, TVC is getting Pong Krell a brand new General Grievous and Temple Guards, and just so I think over the next couple years here, if a lot of this comes true, I'm in on all of it. That's As much as I kind of like Clone Wars. No. There's certain characters in clones besides clones. Yeah, just give them to me. You know, just Jedi and
as long as we don't need more Commander Bly's or Blitzes. We don't need those guys.
This guy.
I mean, we need them, right? But
get your priorities.
I got this guy sitting right here. I don't know why.
He's getting a new figure this year, apparently, as well.
He?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So, and his troopers are coming as well from Revenge of the Sith.
Nice. Okay. Somebody asked about the Savage Press if it's bigger than a Chewie. No, it won't be bigger than Chewie. Chewie's probably like the biggest character Black Series.
I think it'll be about the same size. I think it'll be about. He's huge. He's huge.
Yeah. We need that shirt. Clone suck. Can you hear him? Like Tommy, like, does he call you and say, "Hey, clones suck," and hang up? And it's like
he says it all the time now. That's his new thing. That's like
while he's wearing his clone armor.
Yeah. I like that. Like here's the thing. I almost like rumors and leaks better than I do pipelines.
There's more speculation.
It's just it makes you because it's that anticipation. It's that when they have a live stream or when they have announcements, it's like, okay, what are we doing? And so they're not setting that still where it's like if it's leaked a month before the live stream is just tell me when to pre-order so I can just bounce, right? You know. And speaking of, and I cannot stress this anymore. Alex has stressed this on our show, on their show, about having a spokesperson when you do your live streams.
Yes.
Where is Mr. Stevie on this? Like, Mr. Stevie, You are your Instagram is blowing up. You do all these things. You have your own YouTube channel. You do these things. Why aren't you on this? Do you have a personality? No. Why aren't you on the? And this is a legit, because I think it needs to have a talking head when it comes to the Star Wars team. I know Miss Stevie is involved in more than just the Star Wars, but I think there needs to be somebody else that does these live streams. First off, I don't
the marketing team.
Yeah, I don't really care about the marketing team. Like, I want the guy, just like Lenny is over for the G.I. Joe. He's the one who makes the decisions. He's the one who goes, I have my list. We're going to make these. He's involved in making them, and he's directly involved in the community. Where is our Star Wars rep? Like, I don't see any of these people as our marketing. They're marketing. Where's the person that says, I made the decision that I'm going to take this figure and we're bringing it to the line, or we're going to talk to the community. So I do think that's a good constructive feedback on the team to bring a spokesperson out and say, and present these things, because you'll get the live streams will go a lot further, a lot more energized, rather than your fake laughing and your fake, because there's no chemistry at all. Dude. And I'm like, so.
I gotta say, I like when they have Eric, Emily, and Hope on the streams. They have the most Emily, of what they're talking about. Yeah.
They just need somebody like that. And again, the Marvel team has it, the Classified has it, Transformer has it. The guys who actually make the decisions and are involved in the process are presenting these. Now, yes, they have the designer, but again, it's the marketing people that are running the show. And I'm like, I don't want to hear from them. I don't want to hear from the marketing team. I want to hear from the person who puts the figures on the whiteboard and said, this is the figures we're making, and then here's the process we did and why we chose these. I just think the Star Wars team is missing that big time.
I agree.
Here's the thing that I was kind of surprised on, and from what we do in Hollywood and everything, I've never seen that many terrible marketing people speak. And
oh my god, what are you?
Normally you can't shut those guys up, and they're very charismatic, but for some strange reason, over at Hasbro, they hire the most dreaded and boring marketing individuals. And when they get on talking about Star Wars, you're like, it's like they studied at a half an hour before they got on.
They don't know what they're talking about. Yeah,
but man, they just suck the energy out of all of those live streams. I'm why Star Wars live streams are just that bad? Three of them come on, and I'm like, damn, this is gonna be 30 minutes of crap.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just tell me when to pre-order, man. That's all fast. Just because, but when the other ones like the GI, like Lenny gets on and he's like, I am so excited. And here's my history with this character, and here's the decisions we made for this character, and the changes and the future. We future-proofed it for this and this and that. And again, it's their IP. They could probably have more freedom to do a lot more, but it's just like, oh my, like.
But
come on,
you're right though, because Mr. Stevie is that guy, right? I mean, Mr. Stevie, you watch his channel and you watch his Instagram, you look at all the figures that he shares, and I'm like, I had that, I have that, I've got all. He's got the history with it. He'll get on there and tell the stories, the chips and stuff, and what happened with that whenever he was a kid. And it's like, that's what it's missing. It's missing that personal touch. But I kind of wonder if Star Wars is such a volatile property that, and not only volatile property, but he's also, other coast. He's 8 hours, in the future. So is it difficult to get him nailed down? Right. It is pre-recorded. Why can't
exactly.
That's a good point.
Just hire an actor. He doesn't have. You can make.
We need a spokesperson.
Embodiment of this. It's kind of like a Doseki in The Most Interesting Man Alive. Like,
look, Outrider.
I'm just an actor.
No,
don't you dare. Outrider, I've already banned. I banned you from Sarlacc last week. You're about to get banned from here, man.
But I almost, and it needs to stay that way for him. That's what it is.
But at least Patrick was the head. He was like the center.
I get that.
When these four are on there, I don't know who to look. I don't know. Why is there a new marketing? Like, what does she have to say to anything? She didn't say 2 words. She just say, "Oh, it's great." That's right. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what? Why do we need another marketing person on this live stream? Like, get somebody who makes the decisions.
I'm sure
I don't know if they're making decisions.
Office that could have done a better job than
marketing to me is different. Maybe I have a different definition what they have, what a marketer, what a marketing person does, but
I have a degree in marketing, and it is not that.
Okay, good. So and like I said, my first thought walking away was like, where the hell's Mr. Stevie in this? Like, where's our leader in the Hasbro community?
There isn't one.
I'm sorry. No, there isn't. Somebody asked the question in there, do we think it would be better if there were 2 separate live streams? Bring Scarlett Johansson, I guarantee
every time. I would buy everything.
I can't argue with that.
I'll buy clones again. Like, that doesn't matter.
But somebody had asked the question.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Somebody asked the question, would it sit better if would these be reacted to better if there were 2 different live streams?
Yes.
One for Vintage Collection, one for Black Series, or 2 different teams. 2 different teams, definitely. I think 2 different teams could be working on it.
I 100% think now you can piggyback live streams. That's fine with me. But 2 separate teams. Like here's the Black Series team, boom, and then move them off, and here's the Vintage Collection team, move on. But then one person bringing them in. Yeah. And I would be cool with that. Like I always said, there should be that separation moving forward. And if there cannot be this us versus them attitude moving forward anymore. You know what I mean? Like I know Hasbro does. They try. They do try though. Like I've seen them do it last year and the year before, where they went on. They did a slew of like press, and they did a slew of like going on other live streams and toy shows, and being like, "Give me your questions." Now they're probably all pre-approved questions, and no, you know what I mean. They're nothing that's going to be gotcha. But at least I see that. I do see that effort.
It's the energy, it's the energy, it's the enthusiasm, and like right here, why even care about the faces of Hasbro and why criticize the presentation? Critique the product, not the people. Yes, but you've got to show some enthusiasm and some knowledge behind the product that you're trying to push out, right? And that's why you have a marketing team in the first place. And I don't know how many times I've watched these live streams and they can't even pronounce a name correctly. They don't know the history. There was one where the guy had actually talked about the wrong film, the wrong movie that the character, or the wrong TV show that the figure was.
Yeah.
And it's, you've got to have that knowledge if you're going to get up there and speak with any kind of authority about the product that you're trying to push, right? If you get up there and you don't have the authority, you don't have the knowledge, you're pushing a product, then you're just pushing a product.
And that's the issue is that you have people who aren't knowledgeable in what they're talking about, and Hasbro is choosing to do the live streams. They don't have to do. They could do like back in the day where they have a magazine or a website, or why don't you have the YouTube channels that cover nothing but this stuff? Give the reels and help you out.
Well, they do that for the for a couple of the other shows. I know they've had Dan Larson from Secret Galaxy pop in and everything. Look, it's just and answering the question, the same thing that Scott piggybacked off is reason why we're considering it, because it's entertainment, because you've made it into a form of entertainment. So you put it on a screen, you want us to watch. So if I got to sit through 30 minutes of crap, I want to sit through 30 minutes of entertaining.
Yeah.
And so if you are going to put it in that format, you're going to get the critiques.
Right. Well, that's the hobby of collecting, and it's an art, and it is an entertainment. It is a form of entertainment. I mean, it's been since day one when they started doing that PulseCon. Yes, you're back.
You're back.
Okay. Yeah. I like cut out right as I started talking.
No, you
froze, but you went through. Your sound came through, but you were frozen like this. For a while. So it was a great look. It was
cool.
Awesome.
I just want to make sure. All right.
But I think there is enthusiasm behind a line. It almost gives you a sense of confidence when the team behind it has that same energy that you want to have in buying the toy. So on the end of the day, it's all about the product. It's all about the figure and what we're going to do with them, put on our and talk about it. But the journey is fun. The journey is part of the whole process of finding toys in the wild, which we don't do as much anymore. We don't do midnight shows anymore. And that was part of probably the main, one of the main reasons why we got up on a Saturday and Sunday and went toy hunting to 17 different Walmarts and found nothing. But you know what? The journey was still fun. And I think that if you just give it a title and a like you said, hey, 8:00 tomorrow, pre-orders, have at it, and then balance and never say anything or do anything. I think that's where people will kind of get a sense of like, well, if they don't care, then I'm going to start losing interest. It is a synergy behind it. You know what I mean? When, if they're not excited about it, then I think that people, will kind of like, well, I don't know, have fun with this anymore.
It's infectious, right?
It's infectious.
If somebody gets up, I don't know how many times I've seen some like this. Okay, I'm going to talk about Road Pig for a second. I had zero interest in buying this figure because there are certain design elements on him that just don't work for me. But the enthusiasm from Moocher, whenever he got his Road Pig talking about him, pumped me up on it, right? Yeah. And I've got a long history with this particular character, right? I freaking love the Dreadnoks, and especially Road Pig, he spoke Shakespeare, and he doesn't look like he would, but it's a very cool character, right? But the design elements on him just it was okay. But then your enthusiasm for it, the way you were able to speak about it, and the way Lenny spoke about it in the live stream, I'm like, oh,
I'm telling you, dude, if they were just kind of like, here's this figure and threw it on the floor and just walk at 8:00 tomorrow, you can buy it. I mean, that's like I said, it's a hobby. This is a hobby. This is not life or death for us. So, we're not saving lives here. So we put this in the form of entertainment.
Maybe,
and then maybe you are saving lives actually. But
now here's the thing that I'll bring to you though, and Tommy had a good point about this. And there's so many YouTubers out there, and they get so much flack for the takes and the situations they put out, and yet they're selling product for Hasbro, and they have an enthusiasm, it's a joy. And sometimes you're right, it's like exactly how Scott said about Dark Moocher. I'll watch someone else's channel. Yeah, and I'll go through, or I'll watch like Tommy with the clones and everything else, and it will excite me to the point of saying, like, I see why this is such a great figure and why I should purchase it, because the energy is coming back from it. You feel it. Sometimes you're on the line where you're like, I really don't want this.
Yeah.
Then there's enough about it, like, well, wait a minute, you know what? Maybe I was wrong. Maybe this is a cooler character. I think that's why it's important to have the presentation. It's like if you walked onto a car dealership and the guy didn't know jack crap about anything about the car, why would you do? But there's the enthusiast that's a salesman out there that's getting you in that car, and he's telling you about the 0 to 10 and giving you everything you need. And before you walk out, you're signing papers and you're driving off in that car because his enthusiasm was about it. You've got to give me that same exact sense. And if you add in doses of nostalgia, and it doesn't have to be real, it could be an actor, but just you're pushing a product out.
Yeah,
I've never turned on a McDonald's commercial and said this burger's crap and you should maybe get it tomorrow. No, they're making it like your life needs this.
Yeah,
you've got to put that same thing out when you're doing these presentations.
Yeah, just like on our Wednesday shows when we talk about Star Wars in the film and that medium, we're always like, it would be really awesome to have one person come on stage, the same person, and announce the slate, and then next year's celebration, if that's the head, right? Like a Dave Filoni character, not Dave Filoni and then Kathleen Kennedy and then somebody else and then John Favreau. It's like, I get all these things, but there doesn't seem to be this cohesive unit. And like I said, other teams are having. I'm just comparing the other teams to it, and it does matter. And said Hasbro the Hasbro presenters work on the line. They are the ones who are at the conventions. I have had face-to-face conversations with Chris, Emily, Steve, and Patrick. That kind of connection is special. I mean, like I said, I don't mind them. I don't mind them in there. I just like I look at the GI. Like I said, we're going in circles here, but I look at that thing, G.I. Joe, where Lenny comes out and he's just like, I mean, he's so passionate and gives you reasons why this figure is being made.
It's one of those things where you can be passionate about your job and not be good at doing presentations. It's like when you do a group project in college or high school, where usually the outgoing person is the one who stands up and presents, and then the more introverted people do a really good job at putting the presentation together.
Everyone has adding something to the conversation.
I think that goes for. I'm not talking bad about anybody here. I don't think any of us are. We're just saying that person doesn't make me want to buy the figure based on their energy. I think there's certain people on the that do a much better job than other people.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just what I want to see going forward.
If this kind of sentiment is out there, then it's out there, right? It's not, we're not making it up.
Mhm.
And so if it's a problem, then this should be, you know, like address it, right? So if
we're not saying that anybody should lose a job.
No.
That way.
I'm
that
saying
is not what we're saying whatsoever.
No, I'm saying
we
hire
need a figurehead.
Bring somebody. Yeah. Like I said, my takeaway was like, Mr. Stevie, why isn't he on here? Why isn't he presenting these to us and giving us reasons beyond anniversaries, right, for these characters to be produced and the way they're being produced? You know, because Star Wars has always been scattered, boom, 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 boom. All of a sudden they're like, here's like Balin, Shin from Vintage Collection, and then we'll get like Hammerhead right in that mix. And you're like, wow, that's weird. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. At the end of the day, we're still going to buy it. Okay. Yeah. It's not, I mean, but we're talking of us now. The majority, you know, might want to see a little bit more of like, we got guys, like we got to get to the point where it's like, dude, we got Star Wars in our hands. Like, come on, let's go. Don't be so drone about it. Like don't, this is not a bad thing. Like, don't make Star Wars a bad name. And it goes from the movies to the toys, you know, it's the whole thing, you know. When we say there's Star Wars and there's everything else, there's a reason why, you know. Yeah.
So I do think
he's gonna hand it to you, Bly.
Alex, you were talking about enthusiasm, right? It's just recently you started getting into the vintage collection, right?
Actually, I'm glad we're gonna take this moment. I'm getting on my soapbox for Scott Solo because I like you know, there would be some curse words that I would use, but this is a family show, so I try not to do it. But man, you have infected the entire Shadow Nose Network. I know Chad, if he's still in the chat, you know, he was like, I'm picking up that 4-pack and everything. I said, you know, this vintage collection, right? I know, man. I know.
Yeah.
He has done Shen, Balin, when the 4-pack sold out and everything. I heard other guys in the group like, man, I can't believe I could get my hands on that. I was like, this is Scott Solo's fault. Scott Solo's fault. He has done it. He's infected us, and now we're in vintage. And now next thing you know, I've got like, you know, Luke's you know, X-Wing coming to the house and all just
nice.
And I'm like, where the hell do I have the space at and everything? I'm gonna have to build a Star Wars room. I'm gonna have to do 2 shows. One's gonna have to be Joe, and then Marvel Legends, and then one's gonna have to be Star Wars. Because I'm needing to talk to my realtor thanks to Mr. Scott Solo now.
You got any more of those vintage collection figures?
Yeah.
And I will return the favor too, because Chet did an amazing Dead's Head review on the San Diego Comic-Con Dead's Head, and I was like, I'm not getting it. And I was like, after that, I was like, I should get it because Chet said it was cool.
But no, it's just and again, the scopes on Balin and Shen were as good as the Black Series. And I'm like, wow, how are they doing this on both lines? Because they both make you they both make you want to just grab them. But I've seen the excitement, and especially I think for myself with play sets and everything coming back.
Yeah, play sets.
You know.
Yeah. Well, Scott, you're not alone. There are people in the chat that do collect vintage collection. There's proof right there. We will not split this show into vintage and black.
Scott, there's basically the whole TVC communities in here now.
Yeah, it looks like it. All 5 of them. Yeah. Justin Huber asked, does anyone recommend those X-Wing pilots from the 4-pack? I have it. I haven't opened it yet. So stay tuned to the channel. I will open it. I will do a review on the figures, and I'll let you know if they are worth.
Max Rebo in the chat has it, and he loves it.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah. Happy.
No, yeah, Basil. No. Vintage. Oh, another one. Basil's, you're on that side. Oh no. No, I'm kidding.
Oh yeah, brother.
Oh well.
Welcome to the dark side.
Yeah.
Or the light side. I don't know which one's which. I don't know which one's which, but either way, it's cool, man. Where else can you go? Get all the figures, buy a vehicle, buy a play set. They all interact with one another. It's awesome. TVC
Hot Toys Mofex.
Hot Toys, yeah. I know Chet came up with a good winner there on the Hot Toys line. He got a what is it, Alex? He got the Biker Scout with the, Biker Scout hot toy with the bike for I mean, practically free. Not really, but
for that, man.
Wow. Yeah.
It was really cool. It's like I've seen more stuff that's been popping up lately, and more, and actually, like we've got to thank Darth Moocher because God knows we couldn't get. We tried to call Scott, couldn't get him on the phone. We was like, all right,
no, he won't. He screens. He goes people
first, and we called him up and said, hey man, is this a good deal? And everything. He was like, you run back in and grab that.
Yeah, I'm like, yes, it's hands down. Yeah, it was great, man. So I'm glad that I'm glad Chet's getting a Star Wars room. So everybody applaud Chet there. Yay. Yeah, that's right. Everybody needs a Star Wars room.
I don't let just anybody call me. I'm sorry.
If you tell a friend, then they tell two friends, and then they tell two friends. Yeah. Yep. So yeah. But all right. So our next big event is Star Wars Celebration Japan, and Tommy promised. He said they're going to have a slew of no. There's going to be the speculation. Yeah. So, and they said it too, right on the stream. They're like, just wait until what's in store. And I was like, all right, cool. And that gives me till April, and get a second job here, and then do that. And I'm not if the rumors are true and Haslab goes away for Black Series, I'm not. I'm sad that just that experience of it, but I'm cool with it. What replaces it with Black Series, because again, Black Series is a different animal. It's a different scale, and it's a harder sell, I think, when those comes to those bigger vehicles. But I do feel if Classified can do it, Star Wars can do it. Absolutely. You just got to gain. Star Wars needs some bangers, man. They need some real good hits in their pocket. And returning to theaters, I don't know. I know, Tommy, you dropped a thing about, are we anticipating too much on the Mando Grogu movie? And probably yes. Because they have put it back onto themselves to be like, all right, we need a champion here. Disney Plus is great, but it's not doing it for the masses. So I'm not going to talk about it, but you can go to Tommy's channel and view it, because it's great. Again, link is in the description below with Tommy. And of course, Alexander Storm and the Shadow Nose Network. I mean, come on, you got Wednesdays, you got Fridays, everything's cool, man. Great conversations over there. I'm not a Marvel Legends collector, but you guys were talking about the Marvel Ultimates, and I think I'm in. Depending on price point, but I think I'm in on those definitive collector things. And it's because of you guys, and it's because of your presentation and your characters that you are, and that you make me spend money.
Oh, we don't come from the marketing team, so
yeah. So exactly.
Enthusiasms. It's about the enthusiasms, right? Real quick, just to let everybody know, Star Wars Podcast Day is coming up. It's on February 7th. And the Sarlacc Digest is participating in that. So just be aware, sometime on February 7th, which is a Friday, right, Mooch?
Yes, it's a Friday.
Friday. We're going to be dropping a show on a day that's not normal. So just be aware. This is our Sweet. Is it the third or fourth time we've participated in Star Wars Podcast?
It's been a while. I want to say, it's been 4 or 5 years in a row we've been doing it. And to find out more information, of course, hit up the Starlight Digest and all our socials. We'll be talking about, we blasting it. And there's a slew of Star Wars podcasts. Maybe Tommy can get involved in there too. Maybe we'll see.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah. And it's just a group of all the Star Wars podcasts get together and drop an episode to celebrate the very first happenings of Star Wars podcasts. It's kind of like a cool anniversary thing that everybody does, and it's a bigger community than just one voice. Star Wars is being discussed every minute of every day of every time zone. So that's why it's so great. It's a great phenomenon. So so with that, I think we're done. Will there be snacks? Well, I'll have snacks.
Well, Hell Runner's bringing snacks.
Well,
Hell Runner's going to provide us with the snacks.
In his care package, what do you want for snacks? Might as well just, start throwing stuff in there. So he's still looking for that Hasbro Pulse subscription, So he's a part.
Real quick, if you're about to plug your own stuff, my good friend Fig Fury 79, who is a co-host on the Monday Night Figure Ball show, which you should go check out after this is done. He plugged on their show last week, and then on the YouTube channel Out of the Basement's Lazy Sunday stream, which would have been yesterday. Tashi Station Emporium showed off some of the stands that he just picked up. So he gave you the plug on both those shows, and
I love it.
The word.
Fig Fury is he's doing those
good guy
IG those AI. Oh my god! I'm like, he did a Malgus one. I'm just like,
yes,
come home,
so
like, come
cool.
home. They're so good. Yeah, I'm like I said, the community is great, man. My biggest venture in this world has been Tashi Station and the community and everybody that comes to sees us in shows or talks about it. It's great to have feedback and like-minded people, and I'm all ears. Putting it out there, I'm all ears for any kind of expansion ideas that you guys want to bring to the table. I've got other things I'm going to be delivering. I have a whole pit droid build that I'm doing a cross between Tashi Station and Starlight Digest. So there's a lot of stuff coming. Yeah,
we had some fun with that the other day. Mooch actually came over and helped me fix my 3D printer because it was giving me shit. So yeah, but we were working on the pit droid. Man, it's so much fun.
Yeah. He's gonna be driving us to our to the shows. That'd be awesome. Well, let's get out of here, guys. Thank you guys so very much. Everybody in the pit, you guys are amazing as always. I will kick it over to Alex because Shadow Knows is happening. What's going on?
Oh man, just put me on the spot like that. No.
Yes, it's your turn.
Remember, enthusiasms.
Yeah.
No, again, not the marketing team yet. No, I got some great things coming. We're waiting to see a special guest this Wednesday for Toy Box Chronicles. But I can tell you, though, we have confirmation for the 5th. Anyone out there that's into any part of toy photography or anything, then you've heard the name Sergeant Bananas. Sergeant Bananas will be on the February 5th Toy Box Chronicles that Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern time. He will be popping on the show, talk about his career. He sent a whole bunch of photos about all of his early work up into his recent work. And if you're into toy photography, you want any kind of tips and everything, that's the night you want to pop in, because you've got somebody to give you the keys to the kingdom. So you best ask those questions when you get it.
That's right.
As always, Friday nights is Pixel Plastic Ink, and we have been picking up some steam on the Friday night live streams. Thanks for some of the guys, especially Commander Bly, that's been popping into our shows. He's always first,
It's
always first. Always. I love it.
But we're doing that. Bandino Radio, Chet and I just said the Toy Box Chronicles production will be action figure frequencies will be appearing on the Bandino Radio 112 FM. It's going to be on 2 weeks from now, I believe. I might be wrong on that one because, again, the marketing team didn't give me my stuff. So
just hit that notify button and you'll know.
But that's going to be actually in the audio verse. There's going to be a radio show. So it's going to be action figure frequency, a Toy Box Chronicle production on there. There's other people that's popping on, but that's through the guys over at Odd Frog Entertainment. It is a channel that is for anyone that's in toy customization, for toy photography, or just toy enthusiasts. It's going to be an actual channel devoted to them. So when they're in the background and they're showing off their figures, or doing some customizations or snapping photos, this actual radio station is based just for that. That's awesome. I will be plugging every one of the guys on there, so you guys are gonna probably be sick of hearing Bliss.
That's never
Sarlacc and everybody else associated with us. But that's what's going on over the Shadow Knows Network. I want to know what's going on over at Bliss Transmissions.
Yeah,
there's always something going on at Blitz Transmissions. My buddy David Edge comments on a lot of my videos. He always says he wonders if I'm dead if I haven't posted in 12 hours. So I've got all my social medias are linked on all my stuff, Instagram and all that good stuff. This Wednesday, I am interviewing Michael Havens, who is the showrunner for ICC Con, the Imperial Commissary Collectors Convention in Nashville, Tennessee this May. He actually has been announcing guests, and he just announced Brendan Wayne will be there, the actor for The Mandalorian. Among others, like Sebulba and Watto have already been announced. So that video will probably come out on Thursday. In a couple weeks, I'm going to the Toy Hio Toy Show with Hybrid Toy Reviews, who I mentioned earlier. Shout out to him. And other than that, man, I've got a lot of content coming up here. I try to keep it pretty consistent, not daily anymore because I ran out of reviews. We're waiting for the we're gonna hope
It
I get a good
happens.
haul at Toy Hio here. But yeah, lots of topical videos. I talk just Star Wars news. I talk toy topics, collecting topics. Pretty much whatever I feel like posting that day. But yeah, we got some cool stuff coming up, and yeah, and make sure you check out Shadow and Tashi and Sarlacc. I guess Sarlacc. They're okay. You know,
Hey, we've been known to gain a laugh or two. I don't know. It's like,
They're laughing at us though, not
yes.
not
right.
with
Is it
us.
us or is it like Chris and Ernie? Really? I mean, let's be
Probably
honest.
Chris
So,
and Ernie,
Probably that. I would say
yeah. But yeah, again, guys, always a pleasure to do these shows on Mondays with you. Starlight Digest proper, the Star Wars show, 8:00 Pacific times, every week, breaking down everything Star Wars, from Disney Plus shows to news, rumors, theories, the movies, and we get into little side tangents, which are always fun too, and usually involves a horror movie or Transformers or something like that, but then quickly get back into Star Wars. So but yeah, we got
life is full of them.
yeah, but we've got some cool things going on, man. We got our live mascot, which you can see him down there, SD17, our little pit joy that's been bringing all the comments in. He's coming to life. He's in the other room right now. He's being a little noisy. So we're gonna have a cool competition, not competition, but like a cool way of everybody here to get involved in the building of this droid here. So stay tuned. Hit that Servac. Hit that lack button. Just he got me saying it too. But check out Lack's channel too, man. He's awesome. This guy's been around for a long time with us. So appreciate seeing his name in there too. Everybody have a good night. Stay safe out there. I think we're done, right? We're done.
So.
Toys.
That should be it.
Go
Yay.
hunting. Star Wars. Black Series.
Vintage collection.
Okay,
Keep it
all
nerdy,
right.
everybody.
Whatever.
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You are listening to the Sarlacc Digest. What a fascinating play on words.